What you see here may be God's glory, but what I always tell people is you don't know the story, right? And it's the same for all of us. Now, I'm from Denison, Texas. I'm going to attempt to snatch any excuse that you have for any vision or any goal that you have, and we all come up with those excuses or, well, I got this to do and time and all this stuff. I'm going to attempt to snatch that away from you from the very beginning. I'm from Denison, Texas. Anybody know where that is? I'm a country boy. I grew up with my grandfather, raised by a single mother on welfare who raised 3 kids. The father figure in my life was my grandfather. My grandfather had a pig farm. I literally grew up somebody 2 generations ahead of me. I was slopping pigs and picking corn and baling hay. I was not a millennial growing up on social media. Look, I'm first generation middle class, me and my wife. So when I grew up, I just did not know the life that I'm living today was even available to me. My key to growing up was football. So I played football. I earned a full scholarship to the University of Missouri. That meant a lot to me because my mother was our first college graduate in our entire family, but she was not able to use her degree or her education to really better the lives of our family because my mother suffered from mental illness most of her adult life. So I worked ever since I was 12 years old, working to help pay bills and support my mother. My goal was to set my mom up because she worked so hard to take care of us. So after I went to school, played football all 4 years at the University of Missouri, I did not make a career in the NFL. I went to Canada, I went to the Arizona Cardinals, but because of injury, my career was over. I got into sales, back that up, I did graduate, with a 2.5 GPA and a general studies degree. Now, I see y'all faces. Don't judge me. Now, if that resume comes across your desk, what are you going to think of that person? Next, I hear you. Hey, what are you even applying for? And that is the experience that I had trying to find a job after life after football. But I got into sales because I figured if you can teach a monkey to do something, you can teach me to do anything. I was successful in sales, but I reached a period in my life, a season in life, where I became unemployed. Has anybody ever faced a season like that? How many of you know it's easier to get a job when you already got a job? So for a year, I was unemployed. I almost lost everything I worked for. In that same year, I was unemployed. My mother called me, living 500 miles away, and says, hey, I need some money. And I'm thinking to myself, why do you need this money? Long story short, we got into this knockdown, drag out argument about her needing money. I'm unemployed. Like, why do you need this money? A month later, my brother calls me from my mom's house, says, hey man, the cops are here. They're taking the stuff off the wall, the things out of the cabinet, they're putting in bags and trash bags and throwing mama's stuff out on the curb. You see, what we had learned in hindsight, that my mother, who suffered from mental illness most of her adult life, had her third and most debilitating mental breakdown. My mother had quit her job or stopped going to work 6 months earlier, and she lost her job. Consequently, she lost her income, her health benefits, and today she was losing her home. My mother spiraled despite the best efforts of my family to rally around her to help solve these problems, to help find out what's going on in her life, because this is all hindsight, understanding what happened with her job and her condition. We just did not know. But my mother spiraled into a life of homelessness. And I'm not talking about the state of not having a house to live in. I've picked my mother up during this year that I was unemployed from Salvation Armies, homeless shelters, state hospitals, county hospitals. I've chased my mother around the state of Texas, desperately trying to find judges, attorneys, whoever I could to help me help my mother. And I had a judge look at me in my face and say, Mr. Madison, it's not illegal to be crazy. One day I woke up on the floor of my home, pitch dark. I don't know how long I'd been laying there, but when I tried to get off the floor, my face was stuck to the carpet because it was wet where I'd been crying. I tried to get up and I just couldn't get myself up off the floor. And it's not that I didn't have the physical strength to get up. I really didn't want to get up. Anybody understand the low moments of life? You see, that was then. My life that day was a mess. But today, My life's mess is my life's message. No matter where life takes you, no matter where you go through in life, you have the power and the ability to overcome it. You have something that's inside of you that will fortify you at moments, the down moments of life, that will bring you back from the worst devastation, the worst circumstances that you can ever possibly imagine. Because as I did mention, during that time that I was unemployed and I couldn't find a job, the only opportunity I had was to interview for a company that had a novel technology in healthcare, in research and development of cancer. That was 2004. I had to study and go to the medical school library, Barnes and Nobles, Borders Books. Y'all remember they did have stores, right? Because back then there wasn't no Wikipedia. In 2004, no one had ever heard of Google. So I couldn't look this stuff up online. I literally had to spoon feed myself cancer to go interview for a job because I had no other opportunities. I got that job. That job paid me more in base salary than I'd ever made in my entire life. That was 2004. 2015, a major project in science and research and development finished, the Cancer Genome Atlas Project. It took 20 years to map the entire human genome. We know that there are over 27,000 genes in the human body, but today we only know the function of less than 300 of them. In 2005, that project finished. I was in that industry and I grew with the industry. 2010, the first studies came out that showed that precision medicine, basing therapy on targets, mutation, gene targets, yields better outcomes than physician's choice, where there's no standard of care in cancer. Front cover of the New York Times. 2012. 2012 comes around, Newsweek, precision medicine on the front cover. Time magazine, precision medicine on the front cover. In 2014, President Obama and Joe Biden launched the Cancer Moonshot Initiative, which is the government's backing of cancer research and development of precision medicine. Today, I am a genomic sales expert. I've left the industry where I've grown. In my last company I worked for, I was a senior vice president for a company based out of Los Angeles. I now have a consulting firm that works with these startups that have little known technology, novel technology that they're trying to bring out of research and commercialize. I work with them to help scale their organizations. And I speak in organizations and professional associations about the power of innovation and building an innovative culture. That's me and my story. But I know you have a story too. And your story is just as powerful, just as impressive, more impressive than my story or anybody else's story. You see, that's my journey. The reason why we're here together is because we are stronger together than we are as individuals. We are the economy. And I'm going to just step down off the stage because I have to work my thing here. But there's a reason why you came here. Number one, your network equals your net worth. If you read the book Freakonomics, they talk about your net worth is the sum average of your 5 closest friends. If you don't like what you see in your bank account, look at what's around you. I tell young people, if you're the smartest one in your circle, your friend circle, you need new friends. They look at me like I'm crazy. What you talking about? They like being the smartest person, but you need people to stretch you and challenge you. The reason why it's important that we're here together is because together we create wealth. You see, your expertise may not be my expertise, but I know Akili and he works in financial services. I need to know people in financial services. Why? Not necessarily because of me, because I know people who need him. It's important for us to be here together because we're connectors. We're the fabric of our community. And someone in financial services needs to know an attorney. Attorneys need to know people who are not attorneys because other attorneys are not going to send them cases. Together, we build the community economy. And it's important that we work together because we understand the power of strategic relationships.